Hey everyone, welcome back to the VSO Gun Channel. Thank you for tuning in. It is great to be back. And you will also notice that I do not have the SHOT Show plague. That is statistically improbable that I got it. I did not get it 2 years in a row. So, I mean, it's taken me 12 years, but maybe I've even got a method to my madness. So this is going to be the last SHOT Show video for this year. I've got just a couple things that I wanted to show you, and I also wanted to quickly apologize for the cluttered nature of my office. It will be like this for just a little while because we're painting in the next room, and the new set will take over that entire space. So it'll be pretty cool, but for the time being, we're kind of smashed in here a little bit. So without further ado, here a quick word from today's sponsor, and then we'll get into the cool stuff from SHOT Show. This year's SHOT Show coverage is brought to you by 1st Phorm. Whether you are looking for a protein source or just a bump of caffeine, there's always a question on whether you're giving your money to some woke corporation somewhere. Not so with 1st Phorm. They are a pro-freedom nutrition company, and they are one of us. SHOT Show is a lot of walking. While there is overpriced coffee literally everywhere, finding something clean to eat here that isn't a half-hour walk away and won't cost me $100 is nearly impossible. So while I'm on the show floor this year, I'm staying fueled up with a combination of their meat sticks and protein bars. If you'll do me a favor, use the 1st Phorm link I have listed everywhere and browse their wares. It lets them know that I sent you, and then it helps me keep going. Thank you, and thank you to 1st Phorm for making today's video possible. To start off with, it seemed like in my last video, you guys were a little bit miffed that I put the item from the thumbnail like halfway through the video. So here we are. The guys from High Point have brought to market their rear Picatinny rail variant of their carbines. So you can put whatever you want on the end of it. I hung out with the folks from Midwest Industries for a while, actually a long while, because they had beer in their booth, and as I mentioned previously, I was basically running on 1st Phorm protein bars for most afternoons at the show, and having a few extra calories in the tank was nice for that day. The two things that I wanted to bring to your guys' attention was first the shotgun furniture. So not only the forends, but also the stocks, and these are good for not only the pump variants, but also the semi-automatic ones as well. They've got several different takes on that. And then the MP5 stuff. So they've got a whole bunch of different variations because there's a whole bunch of different looks on MP5s. So whether you want the one that goes all the way up and covers part of the suppressor, or whether you want one that's cut back behind the front sight post, depending on the length of the barrel, that sort of thing. And then the last thing, I lied, there's three. The cheese grater is finally available for the AKs. This one's in plum, and I needs it. Here's the problem, guys. They said that that's going to be a limited run. And that means that Curtis isn't going to get one. So I need you to help a brother out and go give Midwest Industries some love and tell them that they need to make that, they need to make a mountain of them, okay? Speaking of the AK, we're going to hop over to the more techie side with Mantis. They have now their Mantis Blackbeard X for the AK. So for those of you who aren't familiar, this is a reset system for your hammer, so you can dry fire practice without having to work the bolt. It projects a laser, so you can see kind of where you're pointing, do anything that has laser integration. And specifically, it has their X, which is a whole bunch of accelerometers and stuff like that, that tracks your trigger performance on that weapon while you dry fire practice. The Archon Type B is now being imported by PTR, and I do have a contact at PTR, so maybe we'll get one of those in for testing. I have shot one before, but it is nice to see that we have a reliable source for these here in the United States. I had a long stop at XS, and they had a whole bunch of new things on display, so I'm going to rip through them really quick. The first is the brass variant sights for revolvers. Now, this is actually a hat tip to the ways of old, if you will. Before we had all of the modern stuff like tritium, fiber optics, photoluminescent paints, and stuff like that, there were two things that we use for high-vis sights: gold and ivory. Ivory is kind of illegal, and gold, if you haven't checked, super freaking expensive. So the brass gives the same look as long as you keep it clean and keep it untarnished. Then they also debuted their matching plates for optics. And for instance, their RMR one has like a retention strut on it to keep that thing from slopping around on the plate, but they match all of the associated XS sights. And then their rails. So this is a pet project that I have been waiting for I think 2 years now. They now have these lever gun rails. These are freaking melee weapons. So if you guys don't know my backstory with XS, I met them at the fight. And so whenever they are designing stuff like this, it's always kind of the mindset of I might have to hit somebody with this and it needs to hold up. Remember, the root word of gunfight is fight, not gun. And then to wrap it up today, I've got a 3-pack of cans for you today. And all of these are different in some way, and all of them have been confirmed as either on their way or already here for testing. So you will be seeing more of each of these devices. The first comes from Fletcher Rifle Works, and this is a device that is a 22 can that is designed for the purposes of eliminating the competition at the bottom of the market. So we're talking a very cost-effective can that has all of the features that you would want in a 22 device. So be looking out for that. I feel kind of bad because I don't have my footage from this because it got corrupted, so I got to use stock photos of this thing, the Taquito, everyone. The second one is from Angstad Arms, and you've seen lots of things from Angstad here before, and actually we have 2 takes on their device. They are doing the direct laser sintered device, and this is not only a standalone device, but they also have a variant that is going to play with their integrally suppressed thing that we did earlier in the year. So if you want that device that is a 1-stamp gun, then they have one for you, and then they also have the standalone devices in all the relevant calibers. And then the last one is our friends from Occam Defense. And this device is specifically designed for considerations with AKs. So it has that tapering bore for those guns that may or may not be as concentrically threaded as we would like them to be. So whether you've got a piece of trash that you're trying to put it on, or if you're trying to put it on an American weapon like the Ruger American, for instance, in 7.62x39, then they have a can that is specifically catered for those of you who have those guns that may be a little bit questionable. Anyway, that's all I got for you guys today. Regularly scheduled content will resume as soon as I make the next video. So thank you guys for tuning in. And if there is anything that you saw in any of my SHOT Show videos that you thought was neat or something that I missed, then sound off in the comment section down below, and I'll do my best to get it in for testing.